Hello everyone, my name is Veronica and welcome to my channel. I have noticed something out there that not a lot of voice actors or people in general really know about, so I wanted to go ahead and make a video discussing this specific topic. There is a great quote that I don't know who's it from, but it's a great quote. It's called, "Voice acting isn't just an art, it's business." So today's video is gonna really revolve around the business aspect of voice acting, or the business side of any small business that you wanna grow specifically, whether it be whatever it might be. Most people talk about the fun in voice acting, the characters, the creativity, and the performance. We all know about that. But if you want this to be your career, not just a little side hobby or something fun, you really have to treat it like a business. And that means specifically knowing your numbers and the metrics that are involved with your numbers. I am somebody who comes with the background of numbers. Literally, I have a bachelor's degree in accounting, I have a master's degree in business, and I work as an accountant for a business. So I kind of know a thing or two about numbers, and I wanted to go ahead and share you my knowledge and give you an insight on what numbers and key metrics to look out for when you're growing your business, whether it be voice acting or anything else you have in mind. We're going to talk about the most important financial statement. It's called income statement or profit and loss statement, whatever you want to call it. But it's pretty much saying what is your revenue, what is your expenses, and what is your net income. And that's really important when you're running a business. So let's get into it. Revenue is simply how much money is coming in to your account. So if you're doing a job and you got paid $30 for that job, that is revenue. It's how much money is coming into your account. And the best way for a voice actor to go ahead and categorize your revenue is to divide it into statements. I love a good old Excel spreadsheet because it's so nice. It keeps things so neat and I love it. So get an Excel spreadsheet, and in the Excel spreadsheet, you categorize your revenue into specific categories, whether it's audiobooks, video games, animations, commercials, and you put it into categories. So if you did $30 doing animations, you put that into the animations bucket of $30, and you keep adding until, wherever you want to do your month end, where you do an analysis of how much you have earned at the end of your month. And also, when you put it into categories, you kind of know where exactly your prime category is. So if you look and you make 70% of your income off of audiobooks and 30% of income off of animations, you kind of have an idea where you should focus more of your time on because that's kind of where the money's at. Next we got is expenses, which is money going out. We have two types of expenses. We have variable expenses and we have fixed expenses. Let me break that down exactly what that means. Variable expenses is like marketing, maybe some gear upgrades, maybe some coaching, maybe some travel for conferences or cons or anything, right? Pretty much it's amount that you can't specifically know every single month how much it's going to be. Because like maybe 1 month for marketing, you're paying $100. Maybe the next month for marketing, you did a new promotion and you're spending $500, like I'm just giving examples, on this new promotion, right? And so you have a variable expense every month that you aren't able to track right off the bat every single month. You can't just like budget. You can try to budget for it. That's a whole nother subject, but you can't specifically know exactly how much you're going to have of that expense, right? If you have a conference that happens once a year, well, that's a variable expense. It happens once a year, not on a monthly basis. Fixed expense, that is your softwares, your maybe DAWs. If you have a subscription-based DAW and you pay $15 a month, well, you know that you're going to be paying $15 a month. Maybe you have a website that you're hosting and the website hosting is $5 a month. Well, you have to pay $5 every single month until you cancel that hosting services. So that is specifically fixed expenses. And this helps you track exactly where you might be overspending. If you're buying a mic every single other month, but you know that your ROI, which is return on investment, is specifically your marketing, which means you're just getting more jobs, getting more gigs, and getting more revenue off of your marketing rather than mic, then you kind of know that, oh, I shouldn't be spending that much money on the mic. I'm not making as much money as I should be. It's actually making me lose money. And then at the end, we have something called profit and loss, which means revenue minus expenses equals net income. Profit, how much you have earned after your expenses. Loss, how much you have lost after your expenses. We, as a business, are trying to always have a profit, not a loss. If you have a loss, you need to go back to your expenses and understand, where did that money go, or where did that revenue not come from that's making me have a loss? Super easy metric. If you have earned $3,000 on audiobooks this month, right? But you have spent $2,500 on editing, subscriptions, microphones, this and that, your real profit at the end of the month is only $500. And that's the number that we need to know how profitable your business is going to be. So when people say, oh,
You can make $3,000 in 1 month if you just follow my steps and plans.
well, really? Is it really? Yeah, you might make revenue of $3,000, but how much do you make in net income? It might be only like $50 after all those stupid expensive and whatever. So you really have to keep an eye on that number. Next, let's go into depth into some key metrics that you really should utilize for your voice acting business. So here's a few. Average booking rate. It means the number of auditions versus the number of gigs booked. The thing is, this rate, it really matters specifically how professional you are. So it is not uncommon when you're starting out for your rate to be less than 1%. Because when you're starting out, you do a whole bunch of auditions and you might book a gig here and there. That's why your percentage is going to be lower and lower, right? But you want your percentage to be 100%. Like, that's what you want. Everybody wants that, but that's not unrealistic. 100% means it's a 1-to-1 booking ratio. You do one audition, you get the job right away. You can, but it's not realistic. So for voice actors specifically, it's actually a good metric is 3% to 10%. So if you do 10 auditions that you get 1 gig, that's actually a really good metric. So that's something to keep in mind. If you have a good ratio, you can actually utilize that to kind of assess where you are as a business, assess what your rates should be, and assess like how much work you're actually getting done as much as you're putting into it, because you want over time to have a nice gradual exponential slope or just regular slope, pretty much stating that in the beginning you're doing a whole bunch of work and not enough, gigs, and then it just go whoop up. And then it comes to the point where you don't need to audition anymore. People come to you to do their books, or you have returned clients. That is a really good metric to have and to utilize in your business. The next one is average job value. What is your total revenue divided by the amount of jobs you have? So if you made around like $3,000 this month, right? And you had 6 jobs you did, well, that's an average rate of $500 per job. This allows you to specifically understand which type of work is most profitable. And you can also break this up into categories. If you did a whole lot of work, from animations or audiobooks, you can break it up. Like, is a book worth it? So if you got $3,000, but you had to spend, like, for audiobooks, this is a better metric, but like if you did like a $3,000 book, but you spend like literally 100 hours, $30 per hour? No, thank you. No, that's bad. That's a bad metric, right? So you kind of utilize that specifically, whether it's with audiobooks with the number of hours you recorded or with regular gigs with the number of gigs or jobs you've had. You should utilize that to understand exactly what your booking rate should be and exactly how much you're getting paid per gig, which is a really good understanding if you get other gigs or new gigs. It's a good understanding to have. If you're getting $100 to $500 per gig, that's kind of, I wouldn't say it's small, it's pretty good. It's good for starting out, it's good for an intermediate. It's not bad at all. Once you're starting to get into the 500 to 2,000 range per gig, that means you're on the professional level at this point, and that's pretty darn awesome. So, good thing to know. Next one, super important, client retention rate. How many clients came back for repeated work? So you did 10 projects and 5 clients came back saying, hey, I want you to do this, or I want to do another gig with you. That is a 50% client retention rate. That's amazing, because that means that now you don't have to go out there all the time auditioning and trying to find work. People are coming to you. And that is essentially what you want in this voice acting business. You want people to come to you because it takes a lot of time and money and energy to do reaching out to everybody else and all these auditions, which take hours upon a day, and you don't see a single cent until you book that gig. So this is really great. If your metric is 40 to 60%, that is ideal. That is great. That is amazing. Anything higher than that, you're doing good. Like you're fine. You're good. This is a business at this point. You're doing totally fine. So anything in that specific metric, that's what you want. If you're having below, let's say, I wouldn't even call below 40, maybe like below 20%, like you could, improve some things, maybe some communication. Maybe after you do a gig, you send you can make auto replies like, thank you for this gig. I really appreciate it. Please let me know or reach out to me if you have any other work that you would love for me to consider. You could do that. You can try to make communications, social media, maybe try something else to try to get more of that retention rate. But that's super duper important. But the next one, the very last one, is the most important in my understanding, is your ROI, your return on investment. And this matters to literally every business. How much you put in versus how much you got out. The formula for this is, yes, formula, when we're back in math, gain on investment minus the cost of investment divided by the cost of investment times 100. And that gives, you don't have to times 100, but I like to times it by 100. That is a really great metric to have. So pretty much, let's do an example. If you spent $500, let's say on a masterclass or a coaching sessions, whatever, and this coaching sessions led you to get a $2,000 audiobook deal. Well, let's do the math. 2,000 minus $500 divided by $500 times 100 gives you 300%. Or, we can just do that's fine. 300%. That is amazing. That is so good. That's pretty much saying that you are positive, you're doing great. So practically what we want a positive return on investment. If we have anything positive is good. Even if it's small, but it's still positive, it's still worth it. If you have a return on investment and it's a negative value, so pretty much saying that you spent $500 and you got a $100 or $10 deal out of it, that's going to be a negative investment, and that's not good. So easiest way to do it is if it's positive, it's good. If it's negative, you should probably look into things as to why it's negative, maybe kind of reassess what you're doing, reassess where you spending your money, reassess kind of maybe a business strategy that you have. And this tracking tells you if your efforts are actually moving forward and not just keeping you busy. Because busy is good, but also busy is not great if you're not making any money out of it in a business. So to make it easy, you need tools and systems in place. Doing this all by hand, you can do it, but it sucks. So just get a Google Sheets or Excel spreadsheet and just track everything there. Put some formulas in place. Just get an Excel spreadsheet and update your numbers regularly to actually understand how your business is going financially. And this will help you determine if this is a career or if this is a side hustle. Right there. You can do QuickBooks, or you could do Wave or anything of those. Zoho Books. I've used all of them. You could use those to automate it, or maybe send invoices, or kind of have a more professional understanding of your finances. This is a great way to just automate things and have everything really crystal clear. Also for tax season, because you have to do your taxes. Do not forget about your taxes, because they will come find you. And then you could also use a CRM, like Notion is a great, I will use Notion, I love it. Notion, Trello, I know people who use Trello just to track client either relationship or track project progress or track their to-do list. In Notion, I have all of it. I track a to-do list. I have specifically what clients I've worked for. I have you know, what is in progress, what is not in progress. I have a calendar where I can kind of like gauge when I'm gonna work because I also have a full-time job. Don't forget that I work as an accountant. So I have to make sure that my time is used as efficiently as possible. I don't have time to just not work or to just like dilly-dally on my day and be like, what should I do today? Which sometimes I want to, but I can't if I want to make this business work. It's a business. You work hard, you get results. You need to make sure you have a mindset shift from an artist to a business owner, because that's really crucial. When you understand your numbers, you stop guessing. You stop guessing what's gonna happen, and you know exactly what's profitable, what isn't, and where to double down specifically. Even if you're not a voice actor, anything, it's very important to know your numbers. Even personal finance, guys. Personal finance is so important. Get it together with love. This specific method or business doesn't take away from the art. This is still art. You can still be very passionate about this. You can be creative. You can do everything. And then the better you are at running your business, the more time you have to focus on your art, doing what you love. In the end, so many talented voice actors burn out because they can't manage the business side of things. Track your numbers and treat this as a business and the career that it is. And don't let it hinder you. And like, not only will you survive in this industry, you will thrive. And if you want more VO tips, whether it be auditioning, acting, whether it be business side of things, follow me for more content, for more videos. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and I share everything that I know on here. So I hope you have a great rest of your day and make sure to utilize these tips.